Okay, that's the story on Bobby Cox. Let's switch back to Orlando and Pete Van Weeren. We haven't talked to you in about 10 minutes, buddy. Any trades?
No trades. I can update you, though, on the game with the New York Yankees. The Yankees are leading at 1-0. They're in the 4th inning over at Tampa, Florida. We are here at the new Disney Wide World of Sports complex, where we'll be televising the very first game ever played out of here tomorrow night when the Cincinnati Reds come in to Lake Buena Vista for a game. This is a state-of-the-art facility, not just for baseball. It'll be the Braves spring training home beginning next year, but for many other sports as well. You're going to be very, very impressed with this sports complex when you get a chance to see a little bit more of it tomorrow night. We've talked a lot about all the trades that John Schuerholz has made in the last couple of days, and one thing he would like all the fans to understand is when trades are made nowadays by general managers, two things have to be addressed. First, you want to match up the talent, but more important than that, you have to match up the money.
The irony of all of this is that this baseball deal was prompted and motivated by baseball economics. Let me explain. The Cleveland Indians had tried to sign Kenny Lofton to an extension of a contract. They could not get that done. They did not want to go into the offseason of this coming year facing the loss of another free agent like they did with Albert Bell and have nothing in return. So that's their economic issue. Ours, of course, was a very burgeoning payroll, a payroll that had exploded, and our flexibility constricted as a result. So that was our economic issue. So as a result of those economic issues, we began talking about how we could assist one another and make our teams better, and we were able to do that. We traded very talented players and received very talented players. Both sides did, and I think a good baseball trade was made out of baseball economic issues.
And with the Braves' payroll now reduced, they might be able to open up the purse strings later in the year if they need to go out and get a player, just as they did last year when they went to the Pittsburgh Pirates and got Denny Nagel over here in a Braves uniform. And Denny joins us now. Denny, first of all, you'll be pitching the very first regular season game ever at Turner Field, the home opener April 4th against the Chicago Cubs. That's got to be a great thrill for any pitcher to break in a new ballpark.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm really excited about it. You know, really excited about starting the year and getting a full year under my belt with the Atlanta Braves, and unlike last year coming over in the middle of the season and all that. But I've told everybody this spring that, you know, 40, 50 years from now will be the answer to a trivia question, who threw the first pitch out Turner Field, and hopefully it'll be my name.
Let me ask you a question. You've been through spring trainings now with three very different kinds of franchises, with the Minnesota Twins over in the American League, with the Pittsburgh Pirates when they were going through some of their good times and when they were going through some of their hard times, and now you've been through almost all the way through a spring training with the Atlanta Braves. Is there a great difference in the philosophies you see?
Yeah, I think so. Well, obviously, first and foremost, from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the Atlanta Braves, it was a big difference. Last 3 or 4 years in Pittsburgh, the popular question there was, do you think you can finish 500? Do you think you can be competitive? Whereas here, you know, usually the first question is, can you guys repeat? Can you get back to the World Series? You know, and there's a standard that's been set here, and rightly so. I mean, the guys have done a tremendous job here, and I just think the overall atmosphere, you know, there's so much more positive attitude, and it starts from the management on down. You know, Bobby Cox has that such relaxed personality, you know. I mean, I think even more so than people realize, and it filters on down the team. The club's so relaxed that you go out there and play such competitive ball without really thinking about it most of the time.
This was a relatively injury-free spring as far as the Atlanta Braves were concerned, but you were one of the guys who was down for a time with a very strange injury. You're a left-handed pitcher, but you had problems with your right shoulder. How did that happen, and how was it resolved?
Well, I wish I could tell you how exactly happened. Most people think I was playing too much golf, but that was the crazy thing. I only got on the course about 3 or 4 times because of the injury, and it was just one of those freaky things I really couldn't explain. And it was frustrating for me because, like you said, I mean, if it was my left arm, I could know what it was. It probably had something to do with throwing, but I just had some bursitis, came down on my right shoulder. I got a cortisone shot, did some treatment and everything, and thank gosh it bounced back for me, and I'm 100% healthy now.
And feeling good now.
Yes.
And this week has not been too upsetting to you or any of the players, all of this change?
Well, you know, I don't really. It's weird for me, you know, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum for the trade, and I know how those guys feel. You know, David and Marquise both spent some great years here. You hate to lose guys like that, but you got to be optimistic knowing you got a guy like Kenny Lofton can make some things happen, and Alan Embry's going to bring some left-handed gas out of the bullpen. So, you know, we got to think we're still going to be obviously real competitive and have a good run at it again this year.
Okay, Denny, thanks for joining us, and have a good year and a good debut at Turner Field. And we'll be back to Turner Field with Skip Kemp. More information about the new home of the Atlanta Braves.
When John Schuerholz came to Atlanta back in '91, everybody knows about the changes he made on the field and how well they paid off. He made another change that is not so much in the public's eye, but a very important one nonetheless. For years, the Braves in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium were reputed to have the worst infield in all of baseball. That's till Ed Mangan arrived on the scene, and any player in the National League would tell you that in the last several years, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium had one of the best. But Ed's work cut out for him even more trying to get this field ready, and he visits now with Don Sutton. Don.
All right, Skip, thank you very much. Another compliment they give you, they say Ed Mangan can grow grass on a mirror. I don't know that it was being able to grow grass, but the time frame, have you had 8 hours sleep any time since last October?
Well, maybe, I guess, cumulative, maybe so, yeah. It's been wild. It's been hot and heavy the whole time. I mean, from the start. In early season, we started with weather was a problem, but you know, we've got such a mammoth undertaking here to redo this. I know, just talking to people outside who just thought, you know, just change a few seats and, you know, you're ready to go. I mean, they were asking me in November if we had grass on the field.
Did you have to keep Fulton County Stadium going while you were building a new ballpark here?
Yes, yes. I mean, we needed that safety valve there. I mean, just in case. I mean, anything catastrophic would go that, you know, we couldn't play here. I mean, all plans, intents and purposes, we were going to play right here, and there's no doubt we were going to do what it took.
Well, I know you were probably too busy to notice, but we had a camera following you around, and we have on video some of the progress that takes place. Why don't you walk us through what's going on here? This is very early on.
Very early. Here, you know, just into November, and you can see just started reducing the bowl and the amount of the equipment and whatnot that was on the field that it took to do this.
Well, this is 2 days before Thanksgiving, and still.
Yeah, it is.
Mining pit.
It's still a mining pit. Yes, it is. It's more than just changing a few seats. I mean, you basically tore the stadium in half and redid it.
Also looks like, I know we're going to come up on a picture right here where it looks like you may have battled some mud, a lot of water standing on the field.
Right here, when we got down to natural grade, we had to start with a natural clay surface here. And of course, at that time of the year, we get a lot of rain. And we took actually the top off of this field 3 times just to remove all the mud. We couldn't wait for it to dry.
You looked very busy there. Was there ever a time when you thought, I don't know if we're going to pull this off?
There was. We got close to that a lot of times. And, you know, we had a lot of dates to follow with. And, you know, we were basically walking the line the whole time. And with everybody involved and the cooperation we've had from everybody here, it's just been fabulous.
There's a unique drainage system underneath this field, isn't there?
Yes, there is. It's a PAT system, redesigned and reworked by the Moats Group, and they've done a fabulous job with it. It's tenfold over what it's been in the past years.
I'd have to say that was a pretty happy day for you right there when they rolled it.
It was. It was antsy to get there, and a lot of work up until then. But, you know, finally putting the grass down on the field was really a good thing where you're really making progress.
And a beautiful lawn you have created here. They're going to roll a little bit more there, but I want to talk to you about this park is physically different now. We're in a dugout. We're right near first base. How much closer are we than we were when over in the other park?
Standing right here on the rail, we're 45 feet from first base. Which is very close compared to what we had over at the other stadium. You had more like almost 60 feet to first base.
How about the foul line now? Down the right field line, I can see there doesn't look like there's a lot of foul territory in that corner.
Not whatsoever. As we run down the line there's only a foot of grass really, but from the foul line to the warning track, to where in the other stadium we had a lot more room.
Was there anything that popped up that you didn't anticipate, that you weren't ready for, that made it more difficult? Well, how could it have made it any more difficult? But anything that was sprung on you?
Nothing really. I mean, you knew coming into this that everything was not going to go as planned, and there was going to be difficulties, and there was going to be problems, and you just kind of met with them and dealt with them. Obviously, a problem is never something that you want to tackle, but it was a challenge all the way through, and through the cooperation from everybody here, from you know, the Braves and ASDT and ASC and their staff and construction people, everybody in this project ought to be complimented and congratulated. And it's just been a very, very good undertaking, and it's come out beautifully.
And you were the point guard. Congratulations. From here, it looks beautiful. It is a gorgeous ballpark, a great lawn. Joe, how does it look from where you're sitting?
Well, Don, I'm up here in the back row of the Skyline seats in the upper deck, just sitting up here, having a little popcorn, listening to the game on the radio, and listening to Skip call the game. I'm not sure if that's Skip or Milo. Anyway, one of those guys. But I'm in the Skyline seats, and these are very unique seats in that there's only 178 of these seats in the ballpark. They're at each end of the horseshoe shape of the upper deck. Now then, these seats are only $1 per game. They're available only on the day of the game. So you got to get here early if you want to sit in these seats, but at $1 a game, man, you can't beat the view. Beautiful view of the skyline of Atlanta, obviously. And believe it or not, I thought I was probably the first guy to come up here, you know, like the first fan. But if you look right over here, I think Braves reliever Paul Byrd beat me up here. Well, anyway, Skip, the view from here is great. In fact, all the way from the upper deck, I have a beautiful view of the back of your head in the booth. Back to you.
You keep talking. We're going to arrange for you to be up there on a permanent basis, Joe. I'm, of course, in the press box, and that makes me close to where naturally the Fat Cats live. That's where I should be broadcasting from. We have 59 luxury suites in this ballpark. They go from $125,000 to $200,000 each. And there's some party rooms. 2 of them seat 40 people. They go for $4,400 a game. One seats 46 people. It goes for $4,800 a game. If you're interested, 577-9100 is the number. So if you got a lot of money, we got spots for you. If you don't have a lot, we got spots for you there, too. Pete is standing by in Orlando with Tom Glavine, and they'll visit when we come back right after this on the Superstation.
Changing teams, trades, going as a free agent have become a vital part of baseball, especially as we're seeing here with the Atlanta Braves in the last week or so. Being traded affects a player a lot. It affects a ball club because it changes the pitching, it changes the hitting, it changes the defense. But the buzzword lately on good ball clubs is that something like that might change the team chemistry. How players get along, how they relate to each other, how they pull for each other. Remember, they spend about 7.5, maybe 8 months together, sometimes more than they spend at home. And when players are traded, it does affect the team chemistry. A good ball club needs team chemistry to help you remember to be humble and remember it's not easy to win. Bad ball club, you got to have good team chemistry. It's going to be a long, hot, lousy summer. Now, a mediocre ball club, it can go either way if the players pull for each other. Ball clubs have personalities just like people. In most cases, they're going to reflect the personality of their manager. But it's the players in the clubhouse that will follow that lead. And it's very, very important that players enjoy each other, like each other, pull for each other, help each other. Now, what has happened with this ball club, the Braves, they say they're good because a lot of the guys have spent time together in the past. 2 of those players that have spent time together are Tom Glavine and Mark Lemke. We hitched a ride to the park with them. Why don't you listen in?
We were roommates back in '84, and, you know, this is a long time to be still playing with somebody. And when I was young coming in, you know, he always helped me out and took care of me, made sure I know what to do, what to wear, you know, and, you know, that was his type of leadership that I think he's shown throughout his whole career. I want to be a starting pitcher.
Do you?
It's my dream.
I've always felt like I wanted to be a middle infielder. I thought that job was a lot easier.
Oh, is that right?
That's right. I mean, seriously. How hard is it?
How hard is it?
You know, how hard is it to hit 290? I did it.
Right, that's right.
Big deal.
Yeah, you did it. That is true.
You go out there and try and get guys out throwing 82 miles an hour.
Lemmer and I have been playing together since we were 18 years old. So, you know, we go a long ways back, so there's a good friendship there. Every one of us, at some point in life, has a lot on our mind that it's just helpful to have somebody to unload it on. Whether they help you or they don't, it's just nice to have somebody there that will listen to you.
See if we can find a Lemke jersey anywhere.
I don't think you'll find one.
No?
No.
Mr. October doesn't have a jersey on sale in the
Stop
vending
that.
stands?
I'm not Mr. October.
Au contraire.
No.
You put up numbers in October that Reggie Jackson would dream about.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, come on, let's face it. Honus Wagner can't hold a candle to you playing second base.
You know, here you go again.
Bill Mazeroski, you do things that he can only dream about doing.
You know, let me ask you a question. What has gotten into you? You know, we haven't talked this much all year long, and now you're talking your ear off.
And there are 2 guys who enjoy each other. And speaking of a guy that we enjoy, Pete Van Weerden is waiting for us down in Orlando. And Pete, you're with one of the senior citizens on the Braves, and he certainly knows a thing or two about what it takes to make a good ball club.